Hey, all you cool cats and tigers. Welcome back. It is story time. Yay! I have a book here called The Brain. It's all about your nervous system and more. So, since we're studying sense receptors, I thought let's read a little bit from The Brain. I'm not going to read this whole book to you because there's like a lot in here. So I have certain pages that I have marked off just for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. When you touch something hot, your brain tells you how hot it is. But how did your brain find out? Let's follow a single message as it moves through millions of nerve cells from your fingers to your brain. A stimulus is something that makes a nerve cell fire off a message called a response. There are all kinds of stimuli, including touch, sound, light, taste, temperature, and smell. Nerve cells that respond to stimuli are called sensory neurons. Your skin has millions of sensory neurons. A single touch may make thousands of them respond. When your finger touches something hot, signals from touch sensors in your skin travel along sensory nerves at speeds of up to 400 feet a second. Whoa, that's really fast. In a split second, the signals reach relay nerves in your spinal cord and then transfer to other nerves that go to your brain, which feels the touch. Your brain then sends out messages to your spinal cord and then to your motor nerves. Motor nerves carry messages to the muscle cells that make your arm move. So this was the perfect page today. Let me get the picture in there, show you that cool picture. This was the perfect page for me to read today because we just did an anchor chart that totally summarized this entire page of this book. So this man is about to foolishly touch a hot pot. And so when he touches that hot pot, his touch receptors tell him, sends a message up to his brain. His brain then responds like, oof, don't touch that. Sends the message back down to the muscle to move his hand. So that's pretty cool. We did that with our first experiment when we put our fingers in there. We learned that we had nerve endings here. It went all the way up our arm to our brain, and then our brain sent a message back and let us know, oh, hey, it's okay. You're not going to get burnt. Or, hey, it's not freezing anymore. It's cool. All right, so I have another one here for you. And forgive me if I do not get all of these parts of the brain correct. I'm going to try my best. There's some pretty intense words in here. The brainstem is the part of the brain that lies below the thalamus and the hypothalamus. This is about 3 inches long and is as thick as your thumb. So I'm going to show you a quick picture so you know what they're talking about. So this right here, that is your brainstem, and it says it's about as thick as your thumb. The brainstem is made up of the midbrain, pons, and the medulla. Highest on the brainstem is the midbrain, which adjusts the sensitivities of your eyes to light and your ears to sound. Below the midbrain is the pons, which means bridge. The pons relay messages between the brain and the spinal cord. So all of this kind of works together. So we needed that midbrain in order to use our senses of sight and hearing. That's what I just read. And then we need that spinal cord because when it's sending the message to our brain, it goes through there first before it gets to our brain. The 1-inch long medulla blends into the top of the spinal cord. It regulates many of the important automatic functions of your body. These are things you do not think about, such as your heartbeat, blood pressure, digestion, breathing, and swallowing. So those are things that we just do automatically with our big, smart brain. It's big brain time. Quick, simple responses called reflexes work through the brainstem. For example, Pulling your hand away from a hot pot is a simple reflex. If you thought about what you do when you felt the pain, you might get a bad burn. So it's an instant reaction for us to pull that away. Our brain already knows, like, whoa, that's danger. So if you had to stop, if you had your hand on a hot pot and you had to stop and think about it and then pull your hand away, you would be burnt. So that's why it is considered a reflex. And our brain already has that memory stored that, whoa, that's hot and I need to get my hand away from it. So you just jerk your hand away quickly without thinking about it. At the same time, messages reach the higher parts of your brain so that you can say, ouch, and decide how to take care of the burn. So once again, there's the inside of the brain, and there is the brainstem. Sitting on top is the medulla. And then we have that midbrain also. Now I have one more page from this book that I'd love to read you. I'm going to show you the picture first because it's pretty cool. The brain! So there's a module in PLTW that we do about the brain, and I have a 3D printer, so I would love to print out brain parts for us so that way we can take a look at that. Can you remember what you had for breakfast this morning? That's called short-term memory. Short-term memory has very limited time span. You probably can't remember what you had for breakfast 2 weeks ago, but you can remember some things that happened to you months or even years ago, such as your first day of school. That's called long-term memory. The area in the front of the cortex seems to deal with short-term memory, while the rest of the cortex deals with both long and short-term memories. So memories is our vocabulary word, and so that's why I thought that this page would be important, so we can learn a little bit about memories and where they're stored in our big brain. 2 narrow motor strips on either side of the cortex control muscles all over your body, such as those in your lips, eyes, neck, thumbs, and so on. Other areas of the cortex receive information from the skin, eyes, ears, nose, and taste buds. Still, other areas are related to speech, learning, and thinking. The actual memories seem to be stored in the chemicals found in nerve cells. One theory is that a change happens in the chemicals that relay nerve impulses. Another idea is that there is a change in the cell's internal chemistry called RNA. Scientists are just beginning to find out how and where the brain stores memories and where thinking occurs. New discoveries about the brain are constantly being made, but many mysteries still remain. So it's talking about the front of our brain. Whoops. It's over here. It's hard for me to do this looking in a mirror, if you will. So that was the cortex that it was talking about, storing our short-term and long-term memories. I find it interesting that this brain is just so complex and advanced that even scientists still don't know everything about our big brains. So that's pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the brain. If this is the story that you choose to answer the question on, please make sure that you go and comment and include the brain. Stay tuned for our next story.